Hi everyone, welcome back. Hope that everyone had a good lunch. And now let's jump right into our next topic of the summit. We will now once again invite Sally Osborne, Director of Technology Innovation at the Hong Kong and Shanghai Hotels Limited, to speak to us about where heritage meets innovation. Please.
Hello everybody. I know that obviously you've all had a very long lunch and I'm now about to talk to you about, hopefully what I'm going to talk to you about is something that's very creative and a little bit different and a little bit fun really for our industry. So I might come out from behind this thing because it's very high. Can you still hear me? Yeah, great. So I'm talking to you today a little bit about Kaleidoscope Lab. I'll give you a little bit of a history as to why this has come about. Corporate innovation, you know, it's a bit of a buzzword right now. Everybody's talking about it. But I'll talk to you about why it's happened for us and the reason why we have Kaleidoscope Lab. So I started with the company in 2015, but prior to a 20-year career in hospitality, I actually was part of a startup in 1998. That startup was acquired by Expedia, but it was an online travel agency. And back in 1998, we didn't have Google. We didn't have an awful lot of the technologies that we work with now, but we ran this online travel agency, and you know, it really was at the start of the whole OTA side of the world. So really my start was with startups and with entrepreneurship and working with innovation. We did a lot of work back in the day that people said, you know, oh, I don't think this will be adopted. I don't think hotels really want middlemen. They don't really want people online selling their rooms. And we really don't want to put our hotel rooms up with other people's hotel rooms. And you know the story. I think we've been there for a very long time. But when I joined HSH, Hong Kong Shanghai Hotels, and obviously the Peninsula Hotels, one of the things that we wanted to do was really, as I spoke about earlier, was really bring about this idea of collaboration between our teams. Our CEO was very keen to look at technology and our technology roadmap and think about where we would go in preparation for our 3 new hotels in 2021-22. He wanted to make sure that, you know, we continue the legacy that we have with regards to R&D, the work that we do with our R&D lab in Wong Chuk Hang. We've had a lab in Wong Chuk Hang since the 80s. We have about 20 people there. What they do is really think about the in-room guest experience. They think about how the technology works, you know, and they think about everything from, you know, the streaming of entertainment. They think about IoT in the room and behavioral aspects. They think about our tablets and all of that kind of thing. So when we talk about smart room, actually there's been a lot of work that's been going on over the years for our group. But when our chairman and our CEO came together and said, you know, what are we doing with this roadmap? We started to look at what was then our 5-year roadmap. And the first step for that was really to bring various elements of our business units together. So we found that, you know, sales and marketing would be doing work, you know, operations would be doing work, HR would be doing work, but we really weren't communicating and we probably weren't collaborating in a way that we probably should be. So the idea really was to put together this technology steering committee. And the idea was to look at this roadmap together and think up the vision together. And then obviously communicate that out to the operations. So there was a huge change management piece in terms of getting people to start to understand where we were going and why we were going on this journey. And part of that came about with, we were looking at technologies for this roadmap. We'd look at these ideas and we'd say, hang on a minute, I'm not entirely sure we're finding the tech that we want. We really want to go a little bit outside the box. We maybe want to look outside of some of the more traditional technologies. And we obviously, with my background with the startup side, we talked about Kaleidoscope Lab, and we talked about this idea of bringing in an innovation lab to the business. Just press this. Oop. Here's a little bit of our history. For those that don't know, obviously, we say that innovation is part of our soul. I think back in 1866, we hope we were quite innovative. Obviously, with the Peninsula, there's a lot of stories out there about the Peninsula in 1928 and hot and cold running water, which was quite innovative in some places at the time. I don't know. But, you know, we really have done some interesting stuff over the years. But in 1985, we brought in the R&T lab. And as I say, that's a team that's been running in Wong Chuk Hang going for many, many years. 2016, we were our 150th year. And then in 2017, we brought about the whole Technology Steering Committee, the TSC, and the incubator, and the launch of our 5-year plan. And obviously, the whole point of all of this is really to lead into our new hotels in 2021. So before we came into the lab, the idea was to put together this roadmap, which was the digital transformation with the human touch. You know, the idea is to get everybody on board in terms of one message, one roadmap that we can all understand and really work towards. And so this was rolled out within the company. It's very bright, it's very brash, but I think, you know, sometimes when you're doing transformation, digital transformation, and getting everybody on board, we wanted to make sure that it was a message that was consistent and people could start to really see what we were doing. So I chose a very big, bright, bold picture, and everybody said, that's not terribly Peninsula. But I said, well, I want people to look at it and say, oh, that's that weird innovation stuff that's going on. So this is something that we rolled out, and the human touch was hugely important to everybody in the business. You know, people were saying, well, this is all great, but, you know, we don't want to railroad over everything with technology. And I said, no. The idea of this, it just runs an invisible thread through what we're doing. And so obviously, you know, some of the key things we were looking at, I think these are all very obvious. Why are we changing? Further enhancing the guest experience, transforming our operational performance, and building distinctive competitive advantage for the long term. I don't think, you know, Peninsula will ever be at the forefront of technology. They don't want to be a leader, but I do think we do want to make sure that for our guests, we have great choice, we have great technologies, and sometimes they need to be a little bit hidden in the background. They're not supposed to be in the face for us. And so obviously we needed to get everybody on board in terms of, you know, the importance of innovation and how we were to transform our hotel operation. And it's still an ongoing job. I wouldn't say that, you know, everybody in the business is really kind of, you know, involved with what's going on in innovation, but what we're trying to do is just make sure that everybody's starting to get involved. We're launching a few other projects whereby people within the business can actually come back. We've got a project called Spark, which enables people within our business, no matter where they sit, to be able to get involved in innovation. And I think having the lab is one great thing, but also talking to our own people about innovation is something else. And so that leads us on to Kaleidoscope Lab. So really back 2016, we started to think about developing a program. The lab itself really came as an idea as a 12-week program. The idea is that we engage with startups. We engage with fresh, new businesses, minds that we probably wouldn't be looking at normally. People that probably wouldn't come to Peninsula and say, oh, you know what, those guys are all about technology, let's show them our new thing. You know, and we really wanted to show that actually bespoke, you know, luxury groups can open the doors and have people come in and do some work. When I was with a startup, you know, I would go and see the luxury 5 stars, whatever, and they would say to me, come back, you know, when you've got Ritz-Carlton signed up, you know, and or you've been working for 10 years. So I think for us to be able to open the doors and say, do you know what, why don't you come in, spend some time with us, and really put your product to a test. It might not be for luxury hospitality, it might not be hospitality at all, but it might be retail, or it might be automotive. And so, you know, we've got people coming into us who are actually not really in our industry, but are spending 12 weeks with us and looking at ways to change up what they're doing. And so the idea is that we have a 12-week program. We launch a call-out, and the call-out really runs for a kind of 6 weeks. And the idea is that we have a number of startups. The first time round was just Hong Kong and Shenzhen, but the next one will be global. They will sign up, and then we had 70 startups apply for our first program, and then we took that down to 20 startups. We then met with them with our business units, and our business units gave the feedback, and we took that to 6 startups that went to pitch at Penn Hong Kong. We had a fabulous evening, lots of excitement. It was very Dragon's Den. We actually took them all up to the helipad and did some fabulous things. But we ended up with 2 companies that will spend 12 weeks with us in the lab. And actually, funnily enough, didn't realize until now, both of those companies are actually in the room next door. So we've actually spent the last 12 weeks together working through their product. But I think I'll give you a bit of background as to how we get all these startups involved and how we recruit them. But I think the biggest thing for us was to make sure that whilst we go through this 12-week program, it's a mentorship-led program. We have about 40-odd networks of mentors that come in. But we also positioned ourselves with Stanford Research Institute. Stanford Research Institute, obviously we all know Stanford, but Stanford Research Institute are very much about innovation. They've been around since the 70s. There's many innovations that have come out of there. You know, Siri, the mouse, many, many things that you work with day to day. And so these guys were truly inspirational, and they created the learning part of our program. So the startups get to spend 12 weeks. It's cut into 3 sections. One is the whole learning side, one is the whole kind of proof of concept side, and then we work together to get an agreement out. So it's been a fantastic operation for us to bring in a new pipeline of technology. I think we can open our ears and our eyes and say, what's out there? Really, truly, we are looking to see what's happening in the world. This is the lab space. So in Wong Chuk Hang, we have obviously our R&D lab. This space I stole. It was actually a server room, but we don't need all of that stuff anymore, apparently. So this is the space that we created. And this is where the guys who are standing over there have spent quite a few weeks with us. The idea is that because it's a mentorship-led program, a lot of fantastic people come in and spend time with the startups. So they'll do things like, you know, they'll have a lot of legal conversations, they'll have a lot of financial conversations, sales and marketing, and lots of different people come in and talk to them. And it really is, it flows in a way that whatever the startups need, we've generally got somebody in our family that can come in and talk to them. But it's not just from outside. They also then get very heavily involved in our operations. So there are a few people within our hotel head office that are very heavily involved. So our head of operations is very heavily involved. Sales and marketing get involved. The finance and legal. And really they're there for them to spend time with whenever. But the biggest thing with this is to make sure we get a proof of concept into the hotel and out within the 12 weeks. And that's something we have managed to do with the other 2 startups that are here, but I think it's just important. When you look at a lot of accelerators, they do a lot of mentorship, they do a lot of PR, they may give a lot of money, but does the thing actually end up in the hotel for a trial? And I think it's been tricky for us to do that. You know, we've come through a lot of buffers and a lot of problems, but I think our hotels are now starting to appreciate that we really should trial some stuff, and we might fail sometimes, we might not always win, but you know what, we need to try some things and see what innovation works and what sticks, and we have to think a little bit out the box. So this is just really to give you a little bit of an understanding as to how we recruit those startups. So I spend a lot of time speaking and networking and talking to academia. We're very close with the Science Park, and then globally, academia globally, looking at global hubs around the world, so engaging with VC networks, engaging with any kind of workspaces, co-innovation spaces, anywhere really that touches the startup, we get involved and speak to them. And so, yeah, we're almost finishing up our first program, and I think the plan is that towards the end of this year we'll run a second call out, but this will be a global call out, so any startup or any ideas that are flowing in from global, they can come and sign up. That will be towards the end of the year. We'll launch the call out. And then in Q1, Q2 next year, we will run the program again, and it will be the 12 weeks. In between that time, the lab runs mini innovation programs. So we're running some mini hackathon innovation programs with different parts of the world. So we're working with the Swiss government, Austrian government, various different countries to say, okay, let's run a few challenges and see where we end up. And so, yeah, that's just a little bit about Kaleidoscope Lab. And we're in Wong Chuk Hang, and anybody is welcome. The whole place is about having people over and talking. And so please do come over and talk to us. And, yeah, that's all I have about Kaleidoscope. But I'd like to see if anybody's got any questions about that. I knew you'd have a question. Sorry?
Yeah. So, sorry, the question was, how do you turn it into a win-win situation? So, you say you whittle it down to 2 companies,
yes.
And then they produce a product or a service. is that guaranteed to roll out within all your properties, or does it still become a POC? And do you have a stake in that product going forwards, or does the IP remain with that company?
The IP remains with that company. The idea is that through the 12 weeks, we want to run a POC. We want to have that POC in place. As a result of that POC, obviously, then we decide what we do with a commercial agreement going forward from that. But what I will say, that's been our very first program. It's not, conversations about investment and what we'll do in the future very much on the table. But it's, for the first program, it was very much about wetting our feet and see how it goes. But not just the 2 companies, the 6 or the 20 that we've engaged with are already starting to work with different parts of our business. So they might not have gone through the 12-week process, but they're already things that we've said, oh, hang on a minute, there's something here we're quite interested in. I think the benefit of the 12 weeks for us, there's a couple of very strong benefits. The fact that we managed to do something in 12 weeks, normally unheard of, right? To do something that quickly is fantastic. I think to show the speed of that, and that we can do that within the business and get people rallied around to do something. But also the fact that then, tailoring that product that maybe wasn't even for our industry, and then we have the opportunity to give our feedback and put together something in the POC that really is working for us as well as them. So we've seen, in the last 12 weeks, we've seen a lot of functionality come through that we've put together. We've worked on together within the POC, which means we're ready to go when the commercial agreement time comes. So, yeah. Any other questions? No? No? Well, I just want to say there's a lot of startups out there. We really want to make sure that in Hong Kong, everybody knows about the lab. It doesn't matter what background you're from, please just come bring your ideas, because we have so many different types of business. We have retail, residential, we have tourism, And so just having the lab in Hong Kong is great. And I love talking to people about how we can make it better and how we can really work for the industry, because whatever we do in the lab, obviously we hope that it will benefit the industry in the long term. So I think, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Osborne, for the presentation. Thank you. Now may I invite Colin Ng, co-founder of Lincoln Technology, better known as YoSuite, to speak on break the entry barriers of using smart solutions. Please.
Thank you, Hotel Icon and Hong Kong Science Park, to invite me to speak here. My name is Colin, the co-founder of YoSuite. YoSuite is the simplest smart hotel solution in the market. Simplest implies the setup, maintenance, and installation. Well, actually, right now, as you know the trend, further to the Deloitte's market research, 28% of the hotel has planned to upgrade their hotel in 5 years, which means 1/3 of hotels right now are planning to do the hotel upgrade. So imagine, right now, the key differentiation for the hotel right now, when you choose the hotel, Wi-Fi may be complimentary Wi-Fi may be an element for the people to choose whether there is the hotel to suitable to check in. But in a few years' time, smart room, smart check-in may be another key criteria for the guests to choose the hotel. But the problem right now is that when you are thinking of the hotel upgrade, you cannot, because right now, if you think a lot of the hotel solution, they will ask you for the setup, because you have to do the renovation before you can install the existing system. And you have to, the wiring is quite different. So in order to make the upgrade, a lot of the solution in the market, it require you to stop the hotel or do the renovation before you can do the smart upgrade. And it's extremely expensive. It might cost you $10,000 US per room for the upgrade to the smart. But the YoSuite solution is completely different. We can make the existing room smart in 10 minutes. How this works? Imagine all our product and solution can do the direct replacement of your existing product. Let me cite some example. For the switches, if we need to make the lighting smart, what we have to do is just unwire the existing switch, put our switch on, and then the switch will become, and the lighting becomes smart. For the thermostat, you just direct replacement. We have the same wiring, same shape. That's why this upgrade can be done by the hotel staff, and it can be done within the cleansing time. So this is the key differentiation for the Yo-Switch solution and the others. As you can compare, for other solutions in the market, that asking you to do the upgrade, they will have the central box on top of the ceiling. It depends. It has a lot of the dependency, which if there's single unit failure, then the whole system will scratch. So the Yo-Switch solution is each of the device is decentralized. Each of the device working standalone. So even though one broken, the other won't be affected. So our solution is that just one-to-one replacement. So we can replace one by one, and we can also one room to another room. So it didn't help you to even stop selling the particular room. What we are doing there is that when the people cleansing the time, just send an electrician there, do the installation, the room becomes smart. So that's our solution. And what we are providing is not only the smart room control, but we're providing a comprehensive solution for you to upgrade the hotel. Emergent, a lot of people concerned about the maintenance. Right now, when you're installing from the system integrators solution, when you are having the problem, then you have to call the support. Even though the support call telling you that the response time will be 24 hours, but the 24 hour means that just there's some problem. That's the specialist to answer your phone, but you cannot resolve the problem within 24 hours. You still have to wait for the maintenance staff to come to your hotel to find the problem, to fix the issue. The Yo-Switch solution is different. If there's any problem for the particular device, your hotel electrician and operator can resolve the problem. So go back to about the installation and maintenance. Yo-Switch right now is the main reason that we are very simple and can operate it directly from your hotel staff. And what we are providing, we provide the smart check-in solution, smart room, smart stay, and smart management. Right now, let me walk through the entire guest experience after the upgrade. The first, I would like to talk about the smart room, a smart check-in. So emergent, right now, a lot of the people ask what is a workflow. So maybe allow me to spend some time to expand the workflow right now. A lot of the US hotel right now already, when you're doing the booking, then through the travel agency, there will be embedded link for you to have the download the smart hotel app. So through that smart hotel app, the guests can download the app and then do the check-in. So before the guests arrive your hotel, they already scanned the passport ID, scan every information to put into the system to populate into your PMS system. So when the guests arrive to your hotel, we have the beacon to recognize the guests really arrived at the hotel. And we have the facial recognition that to prove that the people who check in the hotel is the same with the people who presented the passport. So similar to the workflow that you use the check-in through the traditional reception. So that's the check-in procedure. And through the check-in procedure, the guests also have to make the deposit through the app. So that's maybe a lot of people question about how we can get the pre-authorization solution. So the Yo-Switch solution also provide a gateway for you to collect the pre-approval payment from the guests. After getting all the procedure finished for the pre-registration, we will assign the room to the guests and assign the smart key for the guests. And then right now we are working with Wing Card. I think most of the hotel installed the ASAP lock, the Wing Card system. We can direct talk to that Wing Card and then to upgrade that Wing Card solution to use your mobile to unlock your existing door lock. Another direct upgrade from our solution. So our main idea is that we don't have you to change a lot of infrastructure to adapt to the smart solution. So that's about the smart check-in procedure. And the next is about the smart room. So we are not only providing the switches, but we provide all kinds of devices for you to automate your room. There's switches, there's outlet, there's curtains, lightings, thermostat, all all are the devices you need. Let me cite some example for our universal remote. Right now, when you have to guide your guests to watch the TV, you normally provide a TV channel guide. But with the smart YoSwitch solution, then we will preset all the channels inside the app. And we can not only control through the app, I can just tell via our voice controller that change to a particular channel. Say, hey, change to the CCTV or change to the CBC channel, and then the TV will automatically switch to that particular channel. So we are not only making things just on off, but with more intelligent function that we can provide. So that's one of the example for the TV channel we are working. So all our devices support direct installation. Another example is about the curtain. A lot of you that find out that the curtain that you cannot upgrade the curtain because you have to put some wiring to control to make the traditional hand push curtain to the electrical curtain. But we provided the curtain with the lithium battery that can support half-year lifetime, that just changing the curtain track and our motor and make the curtain become smart too. So all our product idea is that you can see we have all kind of product idea that can help you to upgrade the room to become smart. And after doing the upgrade, you can use your voice control, mobile phone control, or you can put the tablet inside the room to do the control. We provide all kind of solution for you to choose. And the next is about the smart stay. So if you can engage the customer, the first step we engage the customer to download your app is about the smart control. So if you can attract the client to download the app successfully, there's a lot of things you can do behind. It's about the smart app feature. So if you can, the guests can use the smart app to pre-book the facility inside the hotel, ordering the food, paying whatever, and you can buy the ticket, and you can also integrate the previous system like the buying things, putting whatever stores, guests there. So that's about the hotel app. I think you have most of the feature, and we can provide most of the feature of it as well. And there's also have the operator integration. The operator means that when you are, right now when you are calling a operator service, say bringing a new tour to the room, you have to call the reception, press 0, and the reception have to arrive, assign the housekeeper to send the staff to the room. So the entire time is very time consuming. Right now our solution, if the guest just asking for a towel, just say inside the room there's a voice assistant that bring me a towel, and then this signal will directly go to the housekeeper's app, and then the housekeeper just have the pop-up message, which room, need whatever. Then it will just save a lot of the manpower and time for serving the guests. So that's about the smart stay. And next is talk about the smart management. Well, actually, this is our development journey that after integrating all the function inside the hotel, we will have the central control management. So this central control management allow you to manage everything inside the room. So you can just, say for example, after 1 p.m., if you want to check out all the rooms, just clicking one button, and then all the room will resume to the original status. You don't have to set the room scene by scene, one by one. All the scenario, all the setup will resume to the original check-in scenes. So that's the central management. And you can also manage which room have the lighting open, has the temperature inside the room. All this detail we will centralize it in the hotel management, central management platform. So for the property management operator app, we also have the chatbot that you can direct chat to the hotel assistant. So you don't have to call again. So all these features allow you to make the things smart that allow the hotel to have the direct interaction with the guests and have the smart experience to interact with the guests. And we also working on some smart promotion function that when the guests check out, then we will ask the hotel to collect the guest feedback. Because right now when the guests just can only feedback their comment through the hotel.com. Then if the comment is too negative, maybe you don't want the guests to make it public. But if you can resolve their comment faster before they release their comment to the public, then definitely will be a good solution. Then if you have your own app, then these complaints, recommendation or comment by the guests can just feedback through your own app. Then you can avoid a lot of the embarrassing through the public information. So in this approach, you can also have the statistic inside the hotel as well. So that could help you to do a lot of the improvement in the hotel. All right, so let me talk about our technology development. Right now, when you're saying that the hotel, as you can see, the first generation of the hotel technology is about the centralized server solution, which means you have to have the central wiring to the server. The main server can have the infrastructure to manage all the things. That's the first generation of the smart hotel system. And the second generation of this hotel system is about the mobile app, which I think right now still don't have it yet. But actually that's already becoming, that is the second generation already, is using your mobile to control the devices inside the room. But right now, a lot of Americans already using about the voice control already. As you can imagine, Google launched its Google Assistant in just 1 year. It sells around 10 million devices in just 1 year, which means in US, based on their research, each of the American home has one assistant that voice control. So the environment, the atmosphere already built up that the user has the practice, has very fluent to understand how to use this kind of device. So they would like to have the experience similar to their home, because the hotel is the home away from home. Imagine if you have already very comfortable to using that smart assistant at home, but when you arrive in the hotel I still have to find, okay, this button is about the ceiling switch, another switch is for the bed. So that's very complicated, especially when you are talking about the hotel panel. If you have many different kinds of buttons, then you will make the guests very annoying. But imagine if you install this smart assistant that when the user has already have the fluent experience to use this kind of the product, they can just simply saying that, okay, switch on the washroom light, and then the washroom light will on. Switch on the bedroom light, the bedroom light will on. All these experience they are using currently at home already. That's nothing new, because they are already using these kinds of product very widely in the US market. So it will soon come to Hong Kong, because for us, we will have another summit with the Google team that will talk about this local deployment for the solution as well. So as you can see, the technology change can come very fast. For the traditional phone be replaced by the smartphone, it just takes 2 to 3 years time. So that's why I tell earlier, the hotel planned that the 5 years upgrade is that after 5 years, you can see 1/3 of the hotel will become smart. So if you are still wondering that hotel doesn't smart yet, then you will lag behind for in the industry. So that's about the journey that the hotel is developing. And right now our solution already go to the third generation, is about enable the voice control. And what we are thinking for the next is about the artificial AI control. What this means, we have the technology right now working on with the Incheon, the top tier chips provider that can detect how many people in a particular area. Say for example, if you have 5 people coming to the hotel, 1 in the washroom, 1 in the bedroom, and another kids just playing on the ground, I have the technology to identify where the people in which area. How we use this data, that's come to AI. Because if you have the capability to understand where the people goes, then go to the energy and the usage. It's about when the people go into the washroom, then the light even don't. Right now, for the experience, I still have to use my voice to enable that light. Go to enable. Okay, switch on the light. I still have to talk. But in the next generation, when I walk into the washroom light already on. When I walk out, the washroom light already off. When all the people go outside the room, the entire room will resume to the original status. When the people comes into the room, I can already have the capability to switch on the particular scene for that guest. And all this will be learned by AI. And all this guest experience will be studied and improved by AI. That's what we are working on the next generation of our smart solution. So I hope that we will have the opportunity to work with you guys. So if you have interested in our solution, right now we have a container in the in Hong Kong Science Park that available for visit. So contact me after the show, after this summit if you are interested. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ng, for the presentation. So that was our last topic of the day, so which means that Smart Hotel Summit is coming to an end. Let's have a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, to all of the insightful presentations. We hope that everyone leaves with plenty of fresh ideas on everything from guest experiences to staff productivity enhancement. Industry Connect will continue until 4 p.m., so if you haven't had the chance to check them out, you should definitely go and see if you would like to explore any opportunities with partner companies. And another special thank you to Hong Kong Hotel Associations and Hong Kong Science and Technology Park, as well as the Wi-Fi sponsored Lycon Technology Company for the kind support. Once again, thank you everyone for the support, and we wish you a pleasant day. Thank you.